Welcome to Beer 30. It's our video series here at Secure State that focuses on the technical aspect of some of our services. My name's Kirsten Clover, and I'm the lead consultant for just about everything that's incident response or investigation related. So instead of taking you through a single service today, we're going to touch on a little bit of everything that's kind of under my domain. That's things like working with companies to build an incident response plan internally, things like testing what may already be in place, your capability for logging, monitoring, and responding to incidents, as well as just overall, are you equipped with the people, processes, and technology that you need in order to respond to your own internal security problems. Incident response is incredibly important because the faster that you can detect and respond to a security incident in your environment, the more money you'll save, the more efficiently your business can run, and the less reputational loss you'll be at risk of. Today, anytime that any company is breached, it seems like it hits the headlines right away, and so obviously you want to handle that internally as much as you can before anybody honestly finds out about it. Since incident response, testing, planning, and actual investigation are very, very customized, they're really dependent on who we're working with at the time, we didn't want to go too in-depth with those, so instead we have some kind of quick tips for you for what we call first response. That's the exact moment that you think that something is going on in your network. We're basically going to give you some examples of good forensics versus bad forensics so that you can buy yourself some time until you contact somebody like us for help if you need it. Number one, please do not or unplug whatever system is being affected or that you think is infected. This is actually something that I was taught when I was in college, but just in the last 5 or 6 years or so, it's completely changed. If you turn off or you cut the power from that system, you run the risk of losing a lot of important evidence. There are cases that I wouldn't have been able to solve if somebody would have shut that off before we got there. On the flip side, the better thing to do is to take it off of your network, and you want to bear in mind that if it has something like Wi-Fi capability, you need to turn that off too, in addition to unplugging your hardwired connection. What this does is it allows you to keep the system powered on while cutting off any connection that an attacker might have into your network. Number two, please do not destroy all of your evidence right away. There are a number of times that I've been called in 3 weeks after something has occurred, and what happened was the first thing that the company did was they completely wiped and reinstalled an operating system on the system that was affected. I don't have any evidence to work on in that case. What might be a better thing to do is, if you suspect that this is something more significant than a single malware infection on a single system, take it off the network and find a replacement for right now. Put it somewhere safe where it won't be altered, and again, remember to keep the power onto it if you can, and set it aside and wait to see what else happens, or contact somebody else for help. And number three, you might have figured I was going to go to this, and as I started talking about number two, please don't wait a significant amount of time before you contact a third party or law enforcement. Once you have a reasonable suspicion that something is wrong in your network, call somebody. Even if it's just to talk through what you're seeing, even if I wind up telling you that it's actually something we've seen really commonly and it's not an issue, it's much better to establish that contact than to wait. If I get called in weeks or months or honestly even years after an investigation, there's a really strong chance that logs have been overwritten, systems and networks have changed, and it's much more difficult to perform an investigation. So if you're not having any problems right now, what can you do? One of my most common problems is that when I get called on site, I find out that maybe there isn't log data, or there isn't enough, or we don't know how to access it. So what you can do right now is make sure that all of the systems on your network, especially those that have sensitive data that you really care about and don't want to get stolen, have logging enabled, and that it goes back preferably at least a year. And for bonus points, make sure that that's going somewhere centralized. That means that if that system has something really, really bad happen to it, you can still find the logs for where maybe somebody accessed it somewhere else. So if you have any questions or would like to talk about anything that I've just said, feel free to shoot an email to info@securestate.com and we'll get back to you. Thank you very much for watching.